Dad, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
Good. Listen, we're going to talk about General Searby. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about him before the war. Oh, and here we have General Searby, right? And the family. Tell us who's in this photo.
Well, my sister Lucy, her brother,
Yep.
and me.
There you go. So that's Lucy, brother, me, and Mama Molly.
And Mama Molly. Right?
And General Searby and the family.
That's it.
So, I understand he was a tough guy. He was a good leader and also a tough...
He was very tough.
He got people to do what he wanted, right?
Yes, and when you were in the car with him, you know, and he saw something they didn't like, he would come up, get out of that car and make it right.
There you go. So I think that's what's made him a strong leader. Dad, you remember him having skills? Like, he went to West Point, right?
Yeah, he was a superior horseman.
He was a superior horseman, and where did he pick up those skills as a horseman, Dad?
I don't know whether it was at West Point or I'm not sure whether he with his own family before he did that, but he was very good. We had all sorts of he was a polo player.
Polo player.
He was
Wow.
a polo player.
Okay.
We still somewhere there are 15 polo mounts.
Wow.
Around, but he was superior in that respect.
I understand also he was an expert marksman.
Very good.
Better than the average military officer, right?
Yes. We had, that was my understanding.
So, Dad, we're going to move on from his the pre-war stuff and his training at West Point. West Point, of course, being the place where America's Army officers are trained. It's in New York. It's a beautiful place. I think what I'll do is we'll show some photos of West Point here so people can get a feeling of what West Point is. It's along the river. It's along the Hudson River, about an hour south of New York, and that's where he received his officer training. All right, so then World War II starts, and he's part of General Patton's army, right, Dad?
I think that's right.
Yeah, he was part of the Third Army, which is General Patton's army. Interestingly enough, General Patton's army was used as the diversion for the invasion of France. General Patton's army was in the north part of England, in Scotland, of the United Kingdom in Scotland. And the Germans were so afraid of General Patton that they were convinced that the invasion was coming through the north, through the Pas-de-Calais, and not through the Normandy beaches where we ultimately attacked. So General Searby was part of the diversionary tactic that kept the Germans focused on the Pas-de-Calais and the north, an attack through there, and not through an attack on Normandy. So that's a fascinating part. Anyway, so during the war, Patton is proceeding through, he's in France, he's in Mousson, and the town of Mousson on a hill. I think we know the history there, right, Dad? That he flew in, he was doing artillery. He was an artillery general, right, Dad?
Yeah.
He was an artillery general, and the Germans counterattacked, and General Searby, along with many men of the Third Army and many civilians and many Germans, died on that day in the Battle of Mousson. Do you remember anything about the time when you heard when your father passed? Where were you? Were you on military base, I think, at the time?
You know, I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I was told that you were on a military base,
Yeah.
and it changed your life. Because, in fact, you told me this, that you went from being the general's son on a military base, the king of all the kids,
Yeah.
to being kicked off the military base, because unfortunately that's what happened. Once the father was killed, they moved you off the military base, and it just changed your life. So we know that when General Searby passed, it had a terrible effect on your life and Fred's life and Lucy's life and Molly's life.
How did General Searby pass?
He passed by attacking a tank.
What?
Attacking a tank, right, Dad?
Is that what it was?
Yes, he was. So General Searby passed when the Germans counterattacked, and there was a tank, And General Searby, who, as an expert marksman, was convinced he could shoot through the holes, because they have the sighting holes in the tanks. And if you get bullets in going in through those holes, they bounce around and can cause a lot of damage to the humans inside the tank. And unfortunately, while he was shooting at the tank's machine gun opened fire on him and killed General Searby. But anyway, we are going now to the town of Mousson, where he was killed, and the nearby city of Pont, and we are so privileged to be hosted there by our French friends who to this day remember General Searby. And Dad, what do you think the legacy of General Searby is in terms of, what do you think he passed on to the next generations?
I'm not sure if I know. It's you do what you have to do.
Service, right?
Yeah.
Did you serve in the U.S. military?
I
did.
Served in the Marine Corps.
He was Marine Corps, and it was in between the Korean War and the Vietnam War, so you
Right.
actually didn't see service, but you were ready to serve your country, right, Dad?
You betcha.
Now, Fred, your twin brother, who unfortunately passed away in 1984.
He was also in the Marine Corps.
He was also in the Marine Corps. And so he did service. What about your grandson, David Bartolo, in the U.S. Air Force, right?
I forget.
He was in the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah.
Your son, David Moi, who's doing the interview, served his country, correct?
Yes. The Russians.
All right, that's Dad's sense of humor. No, I didn't serve the Russians. I served the good guys, the U.S. military, or sorry, the U.S. State Department. I was in the Foreign Service.
In the State Department.
I was in the Foreign Service, and then one of your grandchildren, Jackie Searby, has dreams of following in General Searby's footsteps by going to West Point. So the legacy of General Searby, besides the fact that he's helped French people and Americans remember their bonds of friendship, even to today when we face other people who want to take away our freedom around the world. The legacy of General Searby is that the Searbys continue to want to serve their country and to be allies with people who share our values, like the people of France. That's what you and I have discussed many times, the legacy of General Searby. Where, Dad, do you have anything to say to the people in Pont, Mousson France, who are honoring, and Mousson France, who are honoring the legacy of your father? Do you have anything to say to them?
Je crois que oui.
Je crois que oui, what does that mean? I gotta get.
I think so.
Anyway, how about merci? Merci.
Yeah, merci.
Merci beaucoup. Because one of the things I keep on telling our French friends is that
General Searby was a god to the people in his part of France where he was killed. He was highly thought of by the French and the French.
And they remember him to this day. And to what I always tell when we're talking to our French friends is that there are two things that amaze me, was the courage of men like General Searby and what they did to fight for freedom, but it's also the fact that he's still remembered to this day. That just makes me so.
It's the same as the French expression, chacun a son goût.
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure they do. Dad, love you. Hope you enjoyed this. Oh, before we go on, let's show this photo of you at Rue de General Searby, right?
Yep, that's it.
Yep. And
That's
we'll
it.
So
you're going to see there. You're going to be there. Right?
I'm going to be there soon. And here we have General Searby in his riding helmet. Oh, and that's his father. So your grandfather. Yeah. And here we have the photo of you in next to Rue de General Searby, the cross where he was killed, and the plaque that commemorates General Edmund Wilson Searby, and the men of the 80th American Division, part of the 3rd Army of General Patton, and where he died on September
Les
14th.
Français, n'oubliez jamais. You know what that means?
Français n'oubliez jamais. The French
never-
will never forget.
Right.
France, I forget, my French is très mal, très mal. I think it's the French will never forget, and not France will never forget. But anyway, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Searby. Thank you for your service to your country.
So what are you going to do now?
So thank you for having great grandchildren.
Yeah.
And we're going to send this to our friends in France, and we're going to keep the friendship between France and America very strong, because we care about the same things. We care about freedom.
Plus the girls are pretty.
Plus the girls are pretty. Plus the girls are very pretty. All right, Dad, you're hysterical. He's got. I'm sure he said his dad was tough, but I'm sure he had a good sense of humor too. There you go. Love you guys.
Okay, guys, thank you.
All
So what
right.
are you going to do?